State is set to execute Idaho's longest-serving death row inmate unless the Supreme Court steps in.
Yeah, the U.S. Supreme Court. Thomas Creech's attorneys are asking the nation's highest court to review a decision the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals made on Friday, where they declined to delay Creech's execution. Now, while that petition is pending, Creech's defense wants the Supreme Court to stay his execution. Experts say 11th-hour petitions like this are standard ahead of an execution, but it is unlikely the court will side with Creech.
So as of now, his execution is still scheduled for 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Creech has been behind bars for almost half a century, and former KTVB reporter Roger Simmons covered his case in the late 1970s. Our Brenda Rodriguez asked Simmons about this experience.
I always felt comfortable talking to him.
KTVB's Roger Simmons.
I was primarily the cop beat reporter.
Has been covering the case of Thomas Creech since early on.
It was probably in the late 70s, maybe 78, 79.
In 1979, the Supreme Court ruled the death sentence unconstitutional, changing Creech's sentence to life in prison.
I was given an opportunity while he was out at the state pen. Tom comes across as a very personable individual.
The next time Simmons spoke to Creech was in 1981, when he was sentenced again to death row.
He had just pleaded guilty to the murder of Jensen and was seeking the death penalty.
Tom, can you tell me why you pleaded guilty?
Because I'm guilty and I want the death penalty.
You want the death penalty?
Yes.
Why?
So I'm ready to die.
In 1981, KTVB aired a special about Thomas Creech.
It's pretty hard sometimes to live with all the things I've done. I mean, you have dreams about it and wake up in the middle of the night. You think you see somebody in your cell that you've killed or something. It gets kind of hard sometimes.
Tom considered himself a songwriter, and the half-hour special starts out with him singing appropriately, I guess, "The Hangman Is Coming." That's a song that he wrote.
During that special, Creech talked about his, at the time, 13-year-old daughter and his parents.
You know, his parents had responded to what he had done. They were disappointed in him for what he did.
He even confessed some of his killings.
For the first time when he was 15 years old.
I thought at the time that I was doing the right thing.
At one time, he confessed to 42 murders. Then he brought that down to 26. Over the years, he kept changing that.
After the special, Simmons says Creech's phone calls were nonstop.
He called me all the time.
For one of the scheduled executions, Simmons says that he denied being a media witness. Creech called him to try to change his mind.
He said, "My family can't be there, and you're the closest to me, in terms of family that I can think of," which kind of shocked me.
Creech even shared his preference of how he wanted to be executed.
And he said he'd rather be hanged or firing squad. He hates needles.
Simmons also asked Creech if he was religious.
He said, "Yeah, I believe in God, and I think that God's forgiven me for all of the things that I've done."
30 years ago, after his time at KTVB, Simmons went on to be the manager of the Western Idaho Fair.
I had 2 sold-out conferences of Johnny Cash.
That's where he heard from Creech one final time.
"Yeah, Tom, what do you want?" "I want you to let my girlfriend come in. I've written some songs I want Johnny Cash to see, and I want you to let her go backstage and meet Johnny Cash and give him my songs."
Simmons denied the request. Do you talk to him now? Does he reach out?
I may have upset him because I wouldn't take his songs back to Johnny Cash.